Good evening, everybody. Hello.
Scott.
Let's go, everybody, to start the meeting. Thank you. The mayor is in attendance remotely, but he feels it's appropriate to have the meeting chaired by somebody in person. That person is me. I'm Paul Mayo, Council President. I will be voting on agenda items. We'll start the meeting out with a pledge of allegiance. Barb, would you please read the open meeting statement?
Sure. This meeting and all meetings of the Common Council are open to the public. Proper notice has been posted and given to the media in accordance with Wisconsin state statutes, so the citizens may be aware of the time, place, and agenda of this meeting.
Thank you, Barb. Would you please take roll?
Mayor Brian Smith,
Here.
Colin Dykstra,
Here.
Paul Hagan,
Here.
Eric Helverson,
Here.
Dimitri Martin,
Here.
Paul Mayo,
Here.
Corey Nagel,
Here.
Eric Olson,
Here.
Dave Peterson,
Here.
Scott Berchatsky,
Here.
Henry Velliker.
Here.
10 present, we have a quorum.
And would you start the staff introductions out, please, Barb?
Sure. Barb Nowak, City Clerk.
Justin Behrens, Director of Public Works.
Eric Bailey, Library Director.
Laura Colbert, Parks and Rec Director.
Pete Krager, Chief of Police.
And I believe we have Josh Werner in the control room. Next up, we have the consent agenda. This is an accumulation of items that we vote on with one vote. If anybody has an item on the consent agenda that they'd like moved to the regular agenda, now is the time to request that. If not, I'd need a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Olson, second by Dykstra, to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Next, we have the regular agenda. I don't think we have any extra handouts, no? Okay. So with that, I would need a motion and a second to approve the regular agenda.
Move to approve the regular agenda. Second.
Moved by Hagan, second by Peterson, to approve the regular agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have here, okay. Announcements and correspondence. We have a proclamation for Groundwater Awareness Week, and I think, Justin, you're going to handle this?
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Okay.
To the right page. It's on 64 of the packet. So this is just a proclamation to raise awareness nationwide for our nation's groundwater. So our water utility has 7 groundwater wells, so we rely on that source all the time. We have a wellhead protection that's been in place since, what was it, Henry, 2013, even earlier than that, for a very long time. So it's just a way to raise awareness with all the issues that are going on in the nation's water supply and the infrastructure. Keeping the groundwater supply, which is our source water, protected is of the utmost importance. So everyone is hopefully just kind of aware that be careful what you dump down your sink. Don't throw trash in, on the streets. That goes down into the drains, goes to our rivers and lakes, and everything is connected. So if we can keep our environment clean, then that water that we drink will also be clean. So this is the first time we've ever done it. So I won't read it verbatim, but just glad that we could recognize that.
Okay, thanks, Justin. Next up, we have public input. If anybody has any public input on a non-agenda items, please step to the podium, state your name and address, and limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. This applies to council too. Anybody? Okay. Item 3 is community and department head reports. First, we have the Waupaca Parks and Recreation Annual Report given by Laura Colbert.
Thank you. So my report starts on page 65 of your packets. All right, so if we look at the first page, it just outlines who the staff are and council members and Parks and Rec Board, actually just Parks and Rec Board. The second page is an introduction and sharing our values and mission. We can skip the introduction because I'm going to highlight all those points as we go through the report. So page 68 highlights our revenues and expenses. Not necessarily outlined in here that you can see. I want to just state that we really did a stand-up job of being more fiscally responsible with our concessions money this year. So that was a big thing, and we will continue to do a concessions audit every year to make sure that we're in the black for concessions. Notably on this, our biggest revenues come from our township contributions, the city contribution, and our youth programs. And then our largest expenses comes from the park, the rec administration, which includes all of our salary wages, and then the rec building hit a little bit more than normal this year because we had quite a lot of elevator expenses that came out of nowhere, and then one of our screens in one of the gyms had to get fixed, and that was a pretty big ticket item too. So I don't think we usually see the rec building at quite that high. All right, and then if we go to page 70, this is, these are we do surveys after every season. So the fall winter one just went out, and these are some positive feedback we get from those surveys that we wanted to share with everybody. A lot of great things that they said. Next page highlights the different parks that we have, which are 14, but then we still have a lot of different assets such as Lakeman Field, the cemetery, and the River Ridge Trail. All right, and if you keep going, these are our new things that we've offered this year. So this is one of my favorite pages that we share. We, in collaboration with the EAA, offered a hot air balloon class. We also started Youth and Adult Pickleball 101, which we're going to pick up again in around April. We offered 2 different free learn to play lacrosse events. We offered a chess camp, however, no kids signed up for it. We are going to try to offer it again this year, so maybe we can get some takers this year. We offered Get in the Game soccer skills and drills, and on an unfortunate note, the person who led this has since passed away from cancer, so we will not be able to offer this anymore. She's dearly missed. We, in collaboration with the Historical Society, offered the city bus tour. That was in August, and we are going to hold our next one this year, August 8th. It's going to be on a Saturday, because we're going to see if we get some more families and younger people to join us, because last year we did it on a weekday. And then we successfully launched Rec Desk. So those are some of the new things that we offered this year. All right, and then the next slide talks about the different grants that we received. Hearty thank you to Greg Roman, our grant writer, for working his magic and helping us obtain these grants. Major grants included the DNR grant for Eco Park and Green Bay Packers Foundation. We're also super thankful for our local grants that we got through the Community Foundation for our Rock Steady boxing program and the Community Chest and Rotary. All really wonderful assets from our community. All right, and then going into page 73, this highlights our rentals. Now, I have to tell you and apologize ahead of time, we were playing with different tables and different charts and graphs, and what that did, and I didn't notice it today until I was prepping for this, is it actually changed the data in our shelter rental. So let me tell you that Upper South Park had the most rentals at 39. Brainerd's followed with 38. Then Riverside with 32 rentals. Lower South Park had 23. Swan Lions, which is the one right by the splash pad, had 16. Swan Concessions had 6. Rotary Riverview had 2, and Eco Park had 1. So that's the proper data. And then we shared for the first time ever the rec center usage rentals. So you can see that league play is the most by far, but followed is birthday parties is our next event that occurs that has a lot of different rentals, and other parties, then community events, blood drives, and tournaments lastly. All right, so this is another exciting slide I love to share with everybody. Here's all of the parks improvements that occurred in 2025. So we, as you know, are adding on to our rec center with an expanded gym and business center. We have completed the Swan Park infield project, which means we took the infields from grass to dirt, and it is all leveled and versatile and ready for this year's season. And then we worked with a Eagle Scout to put accessible beach mats at at the South Park Beach. And we are finally able to be done with our Community First Lakeman Field project with a finished concession stand and bathroom. And if you would like to mark your calendars, we will have the grand opening on Sunday, June 7th at 12:45 p.m. So that invite will be coming out soon.
Jason Guyette.
And then we have our new comprehensive outdoor rec plan that we finished this year. We planted a lot of native plants along Mirror and Shadow Lake, or in between the channel, the channel between those two lakes. We put in a MODIS station at Eco Park. That is the station that tracks the migratory patterns of birds and bats. And the Shine project down at Rotary Riverview. So a lot to be thankful for and a lot that occurred this year. And here's some images of the concessions and bathroom. Oh, and then not mentioned, but baseball and softball boards installed a shed at Swan Park as well to house all of their equipment. So we're thankful for that. And then the rec center expansion project before the snow came. All right, so here is a pseudo sneak peek of some preliminary plans. You can see the future pedestrian bridge and Schwen Lions Park images in the middle there, and then one of the renditions we got for the Eco Park playground. So this is for a $150,000 image, and it shows a zip line and a lot of really cool other features in that park. The next page talks about our community partnerships. We are so thankful that we have amazing collaborative partners throughout the community. It makes every single event not only easier on us, but it makes it more inclusive, and it really shows the collaborative force that we have within our community. So we're really excited about that and all of the events and programs we can offer due to that. And then if you go down to the next page, that highlights some of the images. So we show our Winter Rec Fest, which was indoors last year. I call it the curse of 2025. Lots of things were indoors. And then we had our City Parks bus tour. Unfortunately, Tracy and I were not very good at taking pictures, so this is the only one from that event. But it was a really wonderful time. And then if you go on to the next picture, or the next slide, we again had our August movie night indoors, and then our Eco Park days with the 3rd and 7th graders. There's some images from those. All right, so the senior center's next, and this just gives you a highlight of who's on the board. But if you go down to the next slide, Justin, you can see, and this is a really exciting statistic to share with you, we had 798 senior center members last year. And let me give you a little bit of a this is where we were in 2022. We had 623 members. That is a 26% increase in memberships in only 3 years. So that is a huge kudos to Andrea and all of the other senior center workers. They do incredible things. More and more people are coming. I was just talking about how our classes are pretty much at capacity. Our staff are pretty much at capacity. So we're just really proud of where that senior center has come, and it's really uncomparable to other senior centers across the state. We have an estimated 3,052 teens that came to our youth center nights in 2025. Here you can see images of our youth center staff. We have brought on Carrie as one of our staff members this year. She is EA at the CEC, Educational Assistant at the Chain Exploration Center. Helping with those acronyms, you bet. And she also helps run our after summer school program and our playground program. So she is our jack of all trades, and we are so thankful that she's part of the rec center. All right, and then this is it's a lot of numbers and a lot to look at, but when you break it down, it is a very comprehensive look of how many people we have enrolled in every youth program. And then if you look at each individual column, it breaks it down by townships. So we do this when we talk to our township partners so that they can see what the numbers look like, how they compare from year to year. And then you can see on this that we had a total of 1,682 youth attend our programs last year. All right, next slide. Here are our adult rec programs. So you can see the numbers of the adults in the top chart. And then in the bottom chart, we wanted to give you a comparison to last year. So you can see that a few programs we increased, a few we decreased, but then to note that we had 12 adults sign up for our brand new Pickleball 101. And they are wanting more, so that's why we're gonna bring it back in April. All right, and then last but certainly not least, we always highlight our cemetery. We had 32 burials this year, and I was looking at past years, it hovers right in that 30s. We had a 35, a 38, this year we had a 32, so just kind of stays within that area year after year. July was obviously our largest month. A lot of people wait till the summer months to do their burials because it's harder in the winter months to do that. And then the very last page talks about a story of one of our the people within our cemetery, and just to note that we got this information from the Historical Society, and it's from their Halloween hike that they do, or their cemetery walk that they do around that time. And that is my annual report.
Thanks, Laura. Any comments or questions for Laura? Colin?
In the expenses page, it had listed, I think, $50,000 for beach. Is that to say that the staff at the beach is $50K, or is there other expenses there too?
Yes, so we have a small supplies budget. Most of that was their wages, and that was actually under budget because we had such a shortage of lifeguards last year. So it will be higher this year. We actually, just so you know, we have a ton more lifeguards and water safety instructors coming back. So we're hoping that our beach will be back up to snuff this year.
And correct me, did we get them all a raise? I think that was our goal for the budget.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, so they are making at least $2 more than last year.
Oh, terrific.
So that helps significantly.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, thanks, Laura.
You bet.
All right, now we have the rest of the department head reports. Eric, you want to start us out?
I absolutely do. So library was very busy. Report starts for you on page 6 in your packet. Some of the highlights from the past month: we had a Youth Art Month at the library. Always our biggest month every year. Fantastic works of art from the kids in the Waupaca School District. I believe it's closed up now, but you should stop by next year when we have it again. We were closed on March 6th for Hoot Con, which is the local Outagamie Waupaca Library System Conference. We're going to be participating this year in the 4th of July parade. We're working on figuring out what programming we can do in tandem with Strawberry Fest, since that's going to be back on the square. Going to have our new operable partition installed in the lower level meeting room on March 30th or 31st. And yeah, we had a lot of really big programs this month. Most recently, a still pretty well attended, despite the weather, program on beekeeping on Saturday, which is part of our new Snack and Learn series, which is an expansion of our very popular Lunch and Learn programming. That is my report.
Thanks, Eric. Any questions for Eric? Okay, Laura, please.
Thank you. So you can find my report on page 33. I think our biggest administrative news is we're obviously receiving lots and lots of registrations since we opened for our spring and summer programs and planning for the baseball and softball season. I really want to take a moment to highlight this volunteer initiative that Eric and I are on the task force for. So May 16th is a Saturday, and that is the day of service for Rotary, but we are calling it Volunteer Waupaca Day of Service. And we are going to have, it's going to go from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Upper South Park. So that's going to be our central location, and then we're going to have other organizations at other outposts. So for example, Hartman's Creek might be one. We're going to have one at Challenge the Outdoor course. The library is going to have one. We're assuming Foundations for Living might be one, and Bethany and all these other locations. So we'll meet at Upper South Park at 8 a.m. You will get a free t-shirt. There will be snacks, coffee, And then you'll go off to your station that you sign up for as a volunteer for 2 to 3 hours, and then come back to Upper South Park, and we'll have more food and family entertainment. And so we really want to highlight this. If you know of any organizations that can use assistance and volunteer work on May 16th, please be sure to sign up. The survey should be coming out next Friday. And if you don't get the survey and want the survey, please let me know. And then after about a few weeks of organizations signing up, then we're going to open that up to volunteers to match themselves up with an organization, and hopefully this will be a giant community-wide event. As mentioned, Rotary's involved, the Chamber's involved, UW Extension, and then Eric and I. So we're hoping for a really good turnout. We know that this is at the same time as the county's Suicide Prevention Coalition walk, so we don't want to take away from that. We want to figure out a way that we can work with them and maybe even provide some volunteers for that. Is there any questions before I move on? Okay. You may, if you've been out at Swan Park, you may have noticed that in this orange area on the map, we have removed all the shrubbery. There are some individuals who want to help plant prairie plantings in that area. When we removed the shrubs, we noticed that there was quite a few more rocks than we were anticipating, so we're waiting to hear from those individuals whether or not they're still going to be able to plant the prairies. But in case you're wondering why that was cleared out, this is why. And if it does come to fruition, we should have it ready to go by this fall to start the prairie planting. We had a highly successful Winter Rec Fest on February 14th, which just so happened to be Valentine's Day. And we sold out of all of the chili, which has never happened before. We usually have to go get extra containers and bring it to the free little library, and unfortunately they didn't get any, or the free little pantry, sorry. And we ran out of 200 s'mores or 150 s'mores, and then Trinity Church was there with hot chocolate, and they had 5 of those giant percolators they went through. The Adventure Outfitters obstacle course was packed the whole time. They had to have a runner come and get chili because they couldn't even take a break to come and get their own chili. And I would say that it was a highly successful event. We introduced this year somebody who does ice fishing. His name is Ryan Wilson. He was phenomenal, brought all of his high-tech gear and was teaching kids how to ice fish, so that was a really great thing. My kids attempted to ice skate but got really wet and couldn't go very far. All right, if you haven't been to the rec center in a while, it is all of our main areas are fully updated with fresh paint. It looks clean and neat, and it correlates with what's going to happen at the expansion project. We are going to work with the high school muralist to put some of our logos on the walls to make it look a little bit more welcoming, because it's stark right now, beautiful yet stark. And so that'll be happening soon. The blue gym was closed last week for HVAC and electrical being extended to the new gym part. And if you come now during the day, you have to use an alternative entrance if you want to get to anywhere other than the blue gym, because they're putting a fire door in right next to our office. So a lot of banging and stuff is happening right now, but we're going to get a fire door because of the additional square footage. We needed to have that partition in there, and that's the location we decided to do it. Things are still on track as far as overages and change orders and reimbursements from the state. Steph has trained Kate to take over for that, so we don't lose sight of the finances for the business center. And that's pretty much it for now. Senior Resource Fair on March 27th, if you're interested, and tryouts.
Thanks, Laura. Any questions for Laura? All right, Chief.
Thank you. My memo can be found on page 38 and 39 of your packets. During the month of February, the police department responded to 626 calls for service. Officers conducted 94 traffic stops, which resulted in 60 citations and 55 warnings. A total of 19 referrals for criminal charges were submitted to the DA's office for charges. On a side note, this past weekend with the storm, we were able to maintain our staffing levels. We did not need to call any additional staffing in. And a big thank you to our street department for maintaining our roads as best they could, and obviously the public for not venturing out unless they needed to. I think that had a a large impact on us not having to have to call extra staff in. So wanted to mention that. Also in February, Captain Ben Schwal and I attended the Wisconsin Chiefs of the Police Association Conference. Would like to thank council and the commission for their continued support of our professional development with all of our staff. As we all know, ongoing training is important. It's important to keep up with laws, updated court rulings, technology, and community expectations continue to evolve. With that training, we're able to keep up to date on our best practices and legal standards. Included in the memo are all the topics covered during that conference for your reference. On that same topic, recently the Wisconsin Training and Standards Board, which is the oversight committee on the state level that establishes all the training requirements for sworn law enforcement in the state, implemented changes to our defensive and arrest tactics, specifically the ground fighting tactics used by our officers. In February, all of our officers were able to train and receive training from a instructor from the Wisconsin State Patrol. Would also like to thank the State Patrol for providing that training to our staff free of charge. Next week, March 24th, our new parking enforcement system will be starting. All of our staff has received that updated training, and we're hoping for a smooth transition. It's been quite a while since we've been operating on our old system. I'm sure there'll be some kinks there, but I know some of our staff are excited for that change and update. Also recently, the commission did approve a purchase of one new squad that was set for replacement in 2026. That squad is the new squad is replacing a current squad that's 16 years old and is part of our administrative fleet. The commission reviewed current state bid pricings from all three manufacturers, Ford, Chevy, and Dodge, and they approved the purchase of a Chevy Silverado. The price was $10,017 less than a Chevy Tahoe, $2,122 less than a Ford F-150, and $392 more than a Ford Explorer. Our current fleet consists of a mix of Chevy Tahoes, Ford Explorers, and an F-150, allowing for flexibility in vehicle assignments and operational needs. And finally, the police department will again participate in the statewide drug take-back event on April 25th from 10 to 2 at the PD. Again, this initiative we just talked about, our waters and wells. This initiative helps reduce the number of unused medications that are disposed of in our trash. And as a reminder, we will accept unused or expired medications, including over-the-counter medications, ointments, patches, inhalers, non-aerosol sprays, creams, vials, pet medications, vape pens, and other e-cigarette products. Residents are asked to remove prescription labels or black out personal information. Loose pills may be placed in a Ziploc bag, and liquids should remain in their original containers. We will advertise this on Facebook as the event gets closer, and an officer will be assigned to assist during that time. That's all I have.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions for the chief? Okay. Josh.
All right, this year's new computer rotation is done, so all the new computers purchased are in, and then the ones those replaced have been rotated to a secondary location, and all the old ones phased out. One of the capital projects this year is some server updates, and I'm doing prep work on starting that process, which is going to have a lot of involved parts. I've been hearing from staff who are involved with our licensing and permitting processes that the software that we have, which was selected before a lot of the staff that are now working here, has a number of pain points, and we've been having discussions about that. And part of that led to demoing some other systems, which we did last week, to allow us to kind of compare what we have, what's out there, what's changed since we've gone with the system. And we aren't at a conclusion, but that process is ongoing. Staff's got some time to digest what they saw, try out some public portions of some of those systems, and we'll kind of regroup and see how everyone's feeling about things once that happens, and if and how we proceed with that process. Electronics recycling is scheduled for Friday, April 27th. That doesn't sound right. I think it's the 24th. I think I wrote down the wrong date on here.
25th.
25th. Feels like the, Friday.
Oh, I'm sorry, 24th.
24th. I got the wrong number on here. 10:30 till 1 at Swan Park. More details will be published this week on our different media outlets. And then want to highlight some of the work Waupaca Online's doing. There's been talking about a little bit. There's some newer wireless technology out there. Wi-Fi 6 or AX is the standard, and the equipment's often on back order as we wait to get. We're middle of winter. They just got some in a few weeks ago and updated our pop out at the airport, which has a number of customers, and we went from maybe on a good day being able to get someone up to 100 meg to most of the customers out there being able to get 200-300 meg off that updated equipment. So it's making a nice difference. That, you know, there's other areas we've put in. That's just something they've told me that they recently worked on, and they're very impressed with the results. That continues to be ongoing as we prioritize areas. And so that's my update.
Thank you, Josh. Any questions for Josh? Colin?
I recently noticed that Starlink was trying to advertise to attack more rural areas with their internet. Are you noticing anybody go that route?
Most of our attrition has been from fiber projects coming in, and after the promo pricing's done, I don't have a percentage, but a certain number of those people are coming back to us, and they're chasing price back and forth. So I think most of our increased attrition has been fiber.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? All right, Barb.
Thanks, Paul. My report can be found on page 43 of the packet. It's pretty much all election. The spring election is on April 7th, and on the ballot is the Justice of the Supreme Court, Court of Appeals judge, the Circuit Court judge, mayor and alderpersons for the city, county supervisors, and the school board members, and a school board referendum. The ballots were to be mailed out on the absentee ballots for everyone that had a request on file. Were supposed to be mailed out today, but we got those mailed out last Friday. We mailed out 250 ballots. The election worker training was held March 4th and 5th. We had 2 sessions, and we had about 20 workers in attendance. And we were going to start absentee voting at the nursing homes yesterday, but of course we had to cancel. So Vanessa was working with the election workers and the Bethany to reschedule that. I think she has a couple dates she's still working that out. And then the public test for the election voting machines is April 1st at the Recreation Center. And in-person absentee voting starts Tuesday, March 24th from 8 to 4, and that goes Tuesday through Friday that week, and then Monday through Friday the week after that. There is no voting on April 6th, the day before the election. And that's it.
Thanks, Barb. Any questions for Barb? All right, Justin.
Thanks. I'm going to start with community economic development and then touch finance before I get into public works. So in CED, we have 5 homes that are up for sale in the River North subdivision, with a couple more pending final inspections. So that build out is underway and making pretty good progress. The vacancy that's in that department for the building inspector and code enforcement role, we interviewed a couple applicants, and right now we're checking the references and hopefully making extending an offer pretty soon here in that for that position. Something that Plan Commission's going to have to start reviewing is a rewrite of the floodplain zoning chapter. So there is changes at the state level. So we have it within our code, chapter 20, that we're going to update and make it mirror that. So as you can probably imagine, it's going to become a little more restrictive as far as building near floodplains and wetlands. But on the trade-off, if we do comply with this, we have this code updated within our books. It could help owners get a little better pricing on their insurance rates. So that's something that Juliana will be bringing forward here in the near future. On finance side, if I can get to it, here it is. So the audit, I know you guys hear that a lot from finance. It's making very good progress, and next week the auditors will be on site and checking our records and hopefully wrapping things up very shortly. So just kind of wanted to mention that has hopefully a conclusion date to it. Finally, moving on to Public Works. On the wastewater side, we did complete our televising for 2026. We found a number of sewers that had some severe blockages from roots. So the guys responded after we saw the videos and did a lot of extra jetting and cutting. We had some issues with trying to get through some sections. The guys talked with the vendors and with the ones that supply our equipment and tried to get some tips on, try to get this stuff running top notch. We did replace one section already, which I have a picture in, which is just behind the hill on State Street. So that's the old sewer right there. You can see it's in pretty bad repair. We have to block the flow on top of the hill. Got it replaced. And a picture of what it looked like on top of the hill, something like that. So roots can get inside and can cause some major issues. So we're chasing that down in other areas of the city. Little distracted right now with the snow. So I'll keep moving on to the street side of it. So I had a note in there about snow and ice events. I was not anticipating 30 inches, but here we are. And the guys responded and been battling that all weekend into this week, and there's going to be more cleanup coming. So as everybody can see, there's snow kicked all over the roads, built up on the terraces, and they're going to keep working at trying to get that stuff removed and out of the way. The nicer weather is going to help out with that, but it's also going to create a mess. So we have to be careful of that, keeping our stormwater drains clear, and everybody should be kind of aware of that, especially around their own homes. You can find your own ice dams near there, and they can cause some issues. Speaking of issues, the signals on West Fulton Street near McDonald's and Piggly Wiggly have been giving us some issues lately. So we did fix a bunch of things on the signals next to Piggly Wiggly, and they're working normal. Well, they're out at the ones down in McDonald's, and those are now just a folding stop sign. So that's the next one. So right now we're in the mode of just trying to keep these things maintained until the DOT project comes through right after our Fulton Street. So we're working diligently on it, and I guess thanking everyone for being patient as they have to drive through a little more slower on this other intersection. Water side of it, we had a bid opening for wells 2 and 4. This is our rehab project that we conduct every 10 years. We did receive 4 bids, and we're putting those numbers together, bringing it to Water and Sewer Board next month, and then it would be coming here to council. So, we're just breaking down the numbers, but they look pretty good that we should be able to get an award and get that project started this summer yet. One thing we were talking about within the water utility is moving up to 4 operators. So we had 4 on staff about a year ago. We had a retirement. We tried going down to 3, and we're looking to get back to 4. So that's another thing that both Water Sewer Board and Council will see in a future, at least review, if not approval. If that's required, we'll bring that forward. But what we're seeing is with the increased requirements for the lead and copper ruling, we need to start investigating over 1,000 lines in our in our city, and that's going to tie up a lot of extra labor time. So that's the push for that. So stay tuned to that. Facility side, with the help of Greg Groman and Eric Johnson, they were able to secure funding for a new AED here at the City Hall. So that's getting replaced. That's going to cover, the grant's going to cover 75% of that expense. So those things are a little on the pricey side, but they're extremely necessary and vital, especially when needed. So, general announcements. Laura mentioned the bridge. Those 3D renderings are out there. Check out the article from the County Post. The city did a posting on that on Facebook. Those renderings are, I think, look really great. We're getting a lot of great comments on them. So check those out. And if anyone wants to share comments on what we're planning, what we're doing, feel free to share that with the city. On a lower note, our water main crossing underneath CN Rail has hit another delay. We tried to bore a second time underneath the railroad and again hit some large rocks. So here's a picture of those next to this drill bit. This goes inside of a 30-inch casing They were able to pull these rocks out and got hung up again. And what ended up happening that stopped the boring was a void started appearing at the surface, working its way underneath the railroad tracks. So we had to stop that process, fill this void in, and the casing that was sitting there, and we're again hitting the reset button. So what I'm waiting for is cost on what has been done already and what it would take to try again. And before we try again, we need to look at some other options and see what else we can do to do this, because we're making very little progress in trying to get underneath the tracks in a very sensitive area encountering these rocks. So not good news, but stay tuned. We are looking to see what we can do. It might roll over into next year with some sort of a new capital project or a rebid, but I'm trying to get all that information together and then bring it back to the various boards. Moving on to administrator side, you'll see a few items on tonight that I've been picking up and trying to get across the goal line. One thing that is not on the agenda, but we've been thinking about is transit. So we still have the newest van, which is a 22 Chrysler Voyager. We recently had DOT release that lien. And once we get the title, we will be able to then transfer it over to the county. So we are actively working on that to support that program. So that is in the works right now. The finance director vacancy, we did post this internally. We did receive a couple applications, and it also went externally as well. And we are looking at those things, at the applications, and it's have a soft deadline for April 13th. So we want to see those external applications by that date, but basically we're approaching this that it is vacant until filled. And well, we're trying to line up for some interviews coming up pretty soon. So we're trying to keep track with that May, I guess, internal deadline of trying to fill that chair. And if we can do that, that'd be a good positive. Do you have a question, Scott? I can see you leaning forward.
Yeah, concerning who is actually running or doing our finance department director things now. Is anyone, or how is that?
Well, that's kind of the next point is the transition. So before Stephanie left, she put together kind of a plan where she has laid out the various different sites, different programs, tasks, duties, and has that all within a comprehensive spreadsheet. She's been working with Kate and Shelley to make sure that these things are taken care of, especially the ones that are more routine. So we're kind of tackling it all together as a team. Yep. That's it.
Any questions for Justin? All right, we'll move on to, there is no unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. The first item is proposed baseball and softball board infield groomer memo of understanding. Laura.
Thank you. You can find this memo on page 87 and the subsequent MOUs on page 88 and 90. Those MOUs are identical. One is for softball and one is for baseball. So the purpose of the MOUs and the usage of the infield groomer is the update that we made on our Swan Park infields. Now that they are all dirt, imagine raking those between every games. It takes a lot of hours and people to get that done. So in collaboration with Josh Peterson, our park superintendent, he has agreed that he will train a number of people from both softball and baseball boards pending this MOU approval. And there are a lot of stipulations within the MOU that says there's no alcohol. We will keep the groomers in our shops or our garages until there's a tournament, and then during the tournament, the boards can keep it in their shed, their new shed that they have, so it's easier access. We will still do the day-to-day maintenance, including fuels and oils and fluids and cleanings. However, if there's anything that's damaged or lost or misuse or neglect that occurs, the boards will pick up that price tag. And so we just really wanted to help the boards out. They've done a lot of amazing stuff for us. And so this is one of those things that we can offer for them that will make their lives easier during their tournaments. Baseball's hosting 4 and softball's hosting 1 tournament this summer. We also will have anybody who uses the groomers sign a waiver as well, a liability waiver.
Thanks, Laura.
Yes. Oh, and I have 3 memos. I apologize for that. I do want you to know that Parks and Rec Board has approved them all and has recommended to council.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, I need a motion and a second to approve the proposed baseball and softball board infield groomer memo of understanding.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Olson, second by Hagan, that we approve the proposed baseball and softball board infield groomer memo of understanding. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 2 is a business center fee proposal. Laura, you're up again.
Thank you. So you can find this on page 92. There are a number of staff, including Eric and Juliana and Greg Groman, who meet regularly to discuss our upcoming business center because we want to make sure that we're ready to go when we get occupancy. And one of the issues that we've been talking about is proposed fees of these spaces. The grant stipulation originally said that we could not collect any fees. And since then, we've learned that we can collect fees to help with the costs of maintaining the space, but we can't have anything in savings. So we couldn't, for example, collect right away a lease amount that we would, or even a check that we would deposit if somebody's leasing it. So we're working out all of those things. That being said, we believe that one of our last reports will occur at the end of this year, 2026. So when we're able to, and if we're able to in January of 2027, we'd like to be able to start collecting fees. We have received a lot of comparables, and you can see those on the table on the right-hand column. So for meeting rooms, state averages 65 to 100. You can see what the library does. And when you see Coven, that is a location in Marshfield, a business center in Marshfield, and Create is a business center in Stevens Point, and then Oshkosh Venture is in Oshkosh. So those are the local comparisons. We have decided that we would like to offer our meeting rooms for $25 an hour for residents and $50 for non-residents. We think that keeping it at a little higher price point than the library and the rec center will create a more professional feel for the business center. Additionally, we don't want to get stuck in a low starting point as far as rentals are concerned, in which it's going to be a lot harder to get up to a comparable price point. We want to start where we're pretty comparable, but still on the lower end. So that's where what we determined for the meeting rooms. And also, just so you're aware, we determined residency based on whether you own a business in the city of Waupaca or you live in the city of Waupaca. So it could be one or the other or both. We did not know where to start with the AV studio. So what we have decided to do with the AV studio, instead of making a decision that could hurt people from renting it, we wanted to see what the rentals looked like, what the usage looked like for the first few months, and then make a determination and come back to Parks and Rec Board and City Council to offer a recommendation based on usage in those first months. The co-working lounge, we are going to keep at free per grant stipulations. Remember, the reason why we got the grant is because we were offering internet connectivity, high-speed internet connectivity, and telehealth services. So we need to make sure that we're standing true to that, and so we don't want to charge for co-working lounge. However, everybody who uses that space needs to sign up for an account, and they will get their own individual code. So if they come in and something goes wrong, we can monitor who's in there, and we can relinquish their codes. We are also going to have the telehealth suites for free. And then those individual leased offices, there's 3 of them. We will charge $300 a month. And then the Blue Gym will have the same price as the existing gym spaces, and we are going to consider that expansion a half of a gym. Are there any questions?
Eric? Yeah.
So there's 2 meeting rooms, correct?
That's correct.
Are they similar in size?
Very much so. One has 3 windows, one has 1. There might be a little bit less square footage. One has hard floor, one's going to have carpet.
I guess in some of the other places that I've looked at renting, there was a minimum rental time of 2 hours. And that's basically, I think they're trying to cover the cost of cleaning and getting it set up again.
Part of our stipulation is they will be in charge of the prep work, like getting it ready to go, and then they need to clean up after themselves, similar to what they do at the library. So hopefully that will diminish some of that maintenance.
Anybody else? Okay, I would be looking for a motion to approve the business center fee proposal.
Move to approve.
Second.
Moved by Martin, second by Perchatsky to approve the business center fee proposal. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. Item 3 under new business is inclement weather rental policy proposed change. And it's Laura again.
Thank you. If this isn't timely, I don't know what is. So we had gotten a few requests from renters during some of our past inclement weather days to get a refund, and that's not currently in our policy. And it actually, if you go to the page 100 on the shelter rentals, it actually says no refunds based on weather. So we started questioning whether or not we could find a line in which it designates what would dictate inclement weather or a refund. Because if it's raining and you just don't want to go to South Park, that's not a fair refund to give. So I actually called Eric Halverson to see if he had any recommendations as the emergency management for the county. And we landed on the paragraph, in the event of a life safety condition, rental fees may be reimbursed or rental dates may be rescheduled. Life safety conditions may include, but are not limited to, severe weather warnings or declared states of emergency. And we, as the Park and Rec Center staff, can also make determinations based on request. So on page 95, you can see the Rec Center update. We didn't have to cross anything out or take anything out. We simply just added in that paragraph under the rental section. So I don't know, Justin, if you want to go to page 95 on the bottom, there's a highlighted portion. So that would be in addition to our existing policy. That's it there. And then on page 100, our shelter rental policy, as I have already stated, did have a spot on there that outlined there's no refunds, but instead we would cross that off and we would simply add that paragraph that I've already read. A little bit further. There it is. And so that's the request tonight, is to be able to offer that as a service for our community members.
Thanks, Laura. Any questions for Laura? All right, be looking for a motion to approve the inclement weather rental policy proposed change.
I'll make that motion. Second.
Moved by Veliker, second by Peterson, to approve the inclement weather rental policy proposed change. Any discussion? Barb, would you please take the roll?
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Corey Nagel.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you, Barb.
Yep.
Item 4 is a Waupaca Farmers Market Memo of Understanding. Justin.
Thank you. This starts on page 101, goes on to 102. So this is just it's a memorandum of understanding with the farmers market. It's basically putting in writing how we've already operated. So in the future, they will still have to come forward to the council to get the approvals for the road closures. This is basically putting on file in writing how we've been operating for years. So as we kind of skim through it, the farmers market needs to have a representative, and that needs to be a person that comes to council every year prior to April 1st to request the property. So that's built in there. This person also needs to communicate with the various people of our staff, so the street superintendent, to make sure that traffic control devices are there. Needs to basically provide a report back to council before the end of the year We have electrical boxes that we installed a number of years ago. If they'd like to utilize that, there is a charge to it. A key fob, which we will give the coordinator, but there's conditions that they have to be responsible for it. Those things are not cheap, plus there's an element of security there. They do have access to the Waupaca Library during the events, and they do make a number of copies, and basically that's spelled out in there so we can just make our expenses whole. The front yard, they can use that with permission. The city retains rights to basically first refusal, so if we have something going on and they want to use it, well, we can say so first. They need to communicate that with us. There is a contact built in within the wording, and also with access to the building, there's a wording in there that the site of the building needs to be secured pretty much at all times. There's a provision on bathroom access. That's been a thing in the past where they do have that access, and again, they're allowed to go in and out, but we need to have our building secure as well. And then finally, they may store supplies in the library. That is something that does happen, but it's just called out as far as the agreement and the cooperation. So if there's any questions, feel free to ask, but this is basically how we've been operating with the farmers market for a year. We're just finally getting it in place to be a little more streamlined and clear of job responsibilities.
Thanks, Justin. Any questions? Colin?
Has somebody from the farmer's market come to the city clerk and asked for this year already? What I'm getting at is if we make a rule that it has to be done prior to April 1st and we don't have somebody come before April 1st, and if you don't have that already, I think we're setting ourselves up for trouble.
Yeah, so the closure request is coming in April. So they've made that request. So this is just kind of the first step. We'll get this on the, filed away, and then, so that request has been made. We've been talking with Farmers Market Coordinator, Ryan Braun from the county,
Okay.
who's been here before.
Just so we don't make a rule that makes them not able to follow this year, was my concern.
It's agenda.
Okay, thanks,
It's
Colin.
on the agenda.
Yeah, they requested it to be on the agenda. Is that what they?
All right.
They made the request prior to April.
They made the request, but it doesn't have to be on the agenda before April 1st?
I don't know. According to this, it just says to make the request.
Just the request.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All right, I'd be looking for a motion to approve the Waupaca Farmers Market Memo of Understanding.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Moved by Dykstra, second by Veliker, to approve Waupaca Farmers Market Memo of Understanding. Any discussion? Barb, roll call vote, please.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Eric Halverson, Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Scott Burchatsky,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you, Barb.
You're welcome.
Item 5 is ordinance number 03-2026, an ordinance repealing and recreating Chapter 6, Emergency Management, City of Waupaca Municipal Code. This is the first reading. Justin?
Thank you again. So starting on 103 all the way through 111. So as described, the ordinance is in front of you, 03-2026. So that's just the ordinance wording, but what it is doing is replacing our Chapter 6 Emergency Management Ordinance. So the updated one is shown in black, starting on 104. The ordinance that is currently in the books is striked off in red, starting at 107. So this is an update that came through the Emergency Management Committee, worked on with basically Eric Halverson, the fire chief, Zach Van Esten, the coordinator at the county. And what this does, it does update the ordinance a little bit. It aligns it with current state statutes, so the references of state statutes and those definitions are accurate now. It also calls out we need to define who the emergency management coordinator is, and with the addition to the fire chief becoming a full-time position, that's within his job description, so thus it is called out within this ordinance. So this is basically the update. Eric, if I certainly missed something, feel free to interject. But yeah, first reading, so it'll be on the next agenda for adoption.
Okay, thanks, Justin. Item 8 is Department Head Interim Pay 2026. Mayor Smith.
Thanks, Paul. Justin can chime in on this too. But let's talk interim pay first of all. I brought this up to you previously, but obviously with the vacancy in the city administrator's position and Justin being named the interim city administrator, and with your approval tonight, that will be permanent until we decide what to do next with that position. He is taking on an added role, so I'll just talk about Justin first here, as the city administrator and also as the public works director, and so it warrants that he would get additional pay for doing that. He's agreed to an increase of $5 per hour to cover those additional costs. And so that's what I'm recommending in this memo to you. As well as we know that with Justin having to do both positions, the department heads will have to put on their hats a little bit more and step up helping in the administrative part of it too. And so here we are, I am recommending a $1 per hour increase for the department heads. And you can see who at the bottom of that first page, you can see who the department heads that we are talking about there and listed in that. And then with Stephanie leaving the finance department, Kate and Shelley are stepping up, of course, and having to do additional work besides what their normal job is. And so again, the expectations is that they would be doing some additional work that would be more of a department head type work. And so I'm recommending that Kate would receive $1 an hour more, and then Shelley would receive 50 cents more per hour. She's more in the utilities area. And then Justin actually put this together, the cost of what it's going to cost to do this for, this is for a 6-month period, basically. After that 6 months, we'll hopefully have a decision on what direction we want to go with the city administrator's position. And hopefully we will have somebody in the finance, as Justin had said, sometime in May, hopefully we have somebody in the finance position too. So, so these amounts are worst case scenario if it's 6 months, but you can see what it's cost. And then there's a breakdown between if it's related to the general fund, the water fund, the sewer fund, or the Waupaca online fund, or the TID for that matter too, if there's monies that are associated with the TID too. And you can see the list of everybody that's on there, and did take into consideration the city's share of the Social Security Medicare tax, the retirement account, the health, and also life insurance percentages there too. So you're looking at a total for the general fund of just under $11,000. And then you can see the associated amounts with the other funds that, so again, we're looking at about $11,000 for a hit to the general fund. That $11,000 is going to be paid for by not hiring a city administrator until we pay off what we owe him for our leaving, and then also this dollar amount will be added on to that. And again, we're calculating that will be somewhere in the 6-month period for that. So we're looking for action tonight on this for council to approve the interim pay. And again, this is just temporary, of course, as I've said. The temporary pay for Justin Behrens, Matt Klatt, Barb Nowak, Juliana Stills, Eric Bailey, Laura Colbert, Pete Krager, Josh Warner, and then in the finance area, Kate Wieters and Shelley Morsfeld. And we also would ask that you would make this retroactive to March 4th. I'll take questions. Justin can help answer some questions too if you have any.
Henry.
Mr. Chair and Mayor Smith, can we just take 6 and 7 together and just do it all in one full motion, or do you want to see us break it up?
So so you have to do 6 and 7 differently, Henry, Mr. Veliker, because number 6 just takes a majority vote, and number 7 actually takes a 2/3 majority with approval from the mayor. So that's why we separated.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Mayor. I would need a motion and a second to approve the department head interim pay for 2026.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Moved by Veliker, second by Olson, to approve the department head interim pay plan for 2026. Any discussion? Barb, roll call vote, please.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Corey Nagel.
Aye.
10 ayes, motion carried.
Thank you, Barb.
You're welcome.
Item 7 is appointing Justin Behrens to serve as interim city administrator. Mayor, you're up again.
Yeah, as we mentioned in the past, we are in a situation where we are under our policy, we are not able to hire a city administrator until any benefits that he receives from the contract agreement are paid up. And of course, we added some to that $10,000 that we just added with the interim pay too. So we also want to take some extra time here and really discuss what the city administrator's position looks like in the future. I think we would be remorse anytime we have a position that's available, no matter what that position is. We need to take a little bit more diligent time in deciding what's best. So we'll be working with city staff and obviously maybe even a workshop type situation where we work with city council to decide what we feel that city administrator's job description should look like in the future. So I guess what I'm saying is that we're kind of dragging our knuckles here and hoping that we can get the best person that we need in that 6 months period. We know Justin very well. Know Justin will do a great job for us, and so it makes common sense that he would be appointed interim city administrator.
Thanks, Mayor. Any questions?
Motion-
Okay, I need a motion.
Motion to approve the appointment of Justin Behrens as the interim city administrator.
Second.
Was that you, Colin?
Yeah.
Moved by Dykstra, second by Nagel, to approve the appointing Justin Behrens to serve as interim city administrator. Any discussion? Barb, roll call vote, please.
Paul Hagan,
Aye.
Henry Veliker,
Aye.
Eric Olson,
Aye.
Dave Peterson,
Aye.
Colin Dykstra,
Aye.
Corey Nagel,
Aye.
Dimitri Martin,
Aye.
Eric Halverson,
Aye.
Scott Perchatsky,
Aye.
Paul Mayo,
Aye.
Mayor Smith.
I affirm.
11?
Gets to vote.
11 ayes?
11-0. Yeah. Thanks, Barb.
Motion carried.
Yes. Item 8 is license report number 1751, operators, licenses, or bartenders. Any issues, Barb?
No.
Okay, I need a motion and a second to approve license report number 1751.
I move to approve license report 1751.
Second?
Moved by Veldeker, second by Dykstra, to approve license report number 1751. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We have no issues or project discussion. Next is communications and recommendations to the mayor. Mayor, you have the floor.
I do not have anything, I don't think, I do, I'm sorry. Don't forget that the first meeting in April, since Tuesday, the first Tuesday in April is election night, so our meeting will be on Wednesday, the 8th. City planning actually does not fall on that night. City planning will be on April 1st, so we should be good to go at 6 o'clock. So don't forget, City Council, mark your calendars for that, the 8th. And then when we get to the second meeting in April on the 21st, that of course is the reorganizational meeting. So if elected, of course, we'll need to get all our committees and commissions together there. If you do know of anybody out there that is interested in serving on any of the committees or boards, please let either Justin, Barb, or myself know so that we can make sure that we're reaching out to people that might have shown some interest to you. And then for the same token, if there's any of you that are on boards or commissions that would like to not be on those or would like to change to a different one, again, let one of us three know so that we can have that all set for you on the 21st. I think that's it.
Okay, thanks, Mayor. I need a motion for adjournment.
Move to adjourn.
Second. Moved by Hagan, second by Olson, to adjourn until our next regular council meeting on Wednesday, April 8th, subject to call. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion carries. We're adjourned at 7:14. Thank you.